What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update, fourth stimulus check update, and related news. We got lots to talk about today. Let's jump right in. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on updates on the upcoming rounds of stimulus and hit the like button for us. Here we go. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who is often a thorn in the side of Democrats, visited the border and says it's time for immigration reform.
So I'll go back to Washington. I'll be able to speak to the president, the same as Henry will. We'll be able to speak to our colleagues and explain to them it is beyond time, past time to do immigration reform. Immigration reform should be a pathway to citizenship. People that have been here, they might have come here the wrong way, but they came here for the right reason. They've been here, they've been productive. We have children that came here that have no other home but America. There should be a pathway for that for our dreamers. And there should be basically the security of our border using all the technology that we have available. We have the most technological advances ever made before.
So we have the most technological advances ever, more than ever before, yet the border crisis continues to be a problem year after year after year. This has been going on for multiple different presidents now, not just brand new underneath President Biden. This has been going on for many, many years, and they just struggle with the southern border to get it under control. Former President Donald Trump said in a recent interview that the border wall was about 90% complete and could be finished in less than 1 month or about 1 month. Let me know if you think they should continue building that, seeing as how they spent billions of dollars doing this. And Trump says it's 90% complete, and all they need to do is finish the holes that are left over. President Biden has halted any construction at the border wall, the southern border, and the border wall has been completely stopped. Republican senators have alleged that President Biden broke the wall by halting the border wall construction. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and 39 other Republicans wrote a letter to the Government Accountability Office on Wednesday seeking an investigation into President Biden's actions, which they allege violated a 1974 act forbidding the executive branch from refusing to spend money appropriated by Congress. Quote, on January 20th, in one of the first official acts of his presidency, Joseph Biden suspended border wall construction and ordered a freeze on funds provided by Congress for that purpose. In the weeks that followed, operational control of our southern border was compromised, and a humanitarian and national security crisis has ensured, the letter states. The president's actions directly contributed to this unfortunate yet entirely avoidable scenario. They are also a blatant violation of federal law and infringe on Congress's constitutional power of the purse. The fiscal 2021 spending bill that Congress passed in December for the second stimulus check has $1.4 billion for border wall construction and related spending, which is why the Republicans are saying that this halt on the border wall spending this money is illegal because Congress passed a law that says that $1.4 billion needs to go to the border wall. However, in 2019, President Donald Trump transferred money intended for military construction for use in building the border wall, and a federal appeals court last year found that transfer illegal. This border wall scenario will likely not be solved anytime soon. Let's just hope it's solved within the next couple years by the end of President Biden's first term. Let's hope, because honestly, this problem has been going on for decades. Unions are demanding that President Biden cancel student debt for public service workers. The unions say the relief is needed because the Education Department's existing public service loan forgiveness program has been plagued by problems and mismanagement. This comes as President Biden has passed 3 different rounds of student loan help. 2 rounds on student loan complete forgiveness and debt cancellation. The first round was $1 billion for borrowers that have been defrauded by their college or their college closed on them. The second round was for $1.3 billion for people with disabilities and people that have had their loans canceled and they didn't file the paperwork and they're canceling now $1.3 billion for those people. And the third round, which just happened a few days ago, is pausing the student loan interest and debt collections on over 1 million borrowers. However, unions and really a lot of Democratic lawmakers as well are pushing President Biden to go ahead and cancel student loan debt for the masses, literally millions and millions of people. President Biden has said he's willing to do $10,000 in student loan forgiveness, although Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, are pushing for more than $10,000, as high as $50,000 in student loan forgiveness. However, up until maybe recently, President Biden wanted them to do this through a bill or through Congress. We actually seen White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki say literally about 24 to 48 hours ago, give President Biden a bill, put a bill on his desk, and he'll sign it. What that means is actually going through Congress, the House, and the Senate. And while if you've been following along, you know that Republicans are literally doing a blockade at this point where they're not voting for any Democratic bills at all. So that means that they can't really do a student loan forgiveness because of the filibuster, which requires 60 votes in the Senate. But that's really not the end. That's just kind of the beginning because, well, there's several other paths to doing this. One, they could include it in the infrastructure package, which all indications point that Democrats are going to pass this bill through the reconciliation process, anyways, because Republicans are already saying they're not going to vote for the infrastructure package at all. The exact same way we've seen the third stimulus check package happen. Not a single Republican voted for the third stimulus check package from the House or the Senate. We'll likely see the exact same thing happen with the infrastructure package, and we'll likely see multiple rounds of stimulus, possibly even monthly recurring stimulus checks that Democrats are pushing to include in this infrastructure package. More on that in a minute. The other way President Biden can do this is simply through a presidential executive order. President Biden has kind of shied away against this at first because while he'd rather see it pass through a bill in Congress, but with the Republican blockade, that won't happen unless they do it through the infrastructure package. However, he seems to be leaning more towards the executive order side. As President Biden just asked the new education secretary to see if he can legally cancel student loan debt between $10,000 and $50,000 per borrower. President Joe Biden has requested that the Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona, prepare a report on the president's legal authority to cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt per borrower. White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain said in an interview, Ron Klain says, hopefully we'll see that in the next few weeks, and then he'll look at the legal authority, he'll look at the policy issues around that, and he'll make a decision. This has also kind of started a new movement of people that don't have student loan debt or paid off their student loans already saying, what about me? And that has started this new movement now for people asking for other types of debt forgiveness. As honestly, President Biden has already canceled, let me see here, $1.3 billion in student loan debt, and that was really just the easy pickings, the low hanging fruit. That was the easy stuff to do. And there's likely mass student loan debt of at least $10,000, between $10,000 and $50,000 of student loan debt on the horizon. I do expect that to pass because President Biden has said he's willing to do at least $10,000 in student loan debt forgiveness. So it's really just a matter of time before the Democrats figure out which way they're going to do this student loan debt forgiveness. And this has now started a new movement of debt forgiveness for other types of debt. We now have lots of people out there saying, hey, if you want to do $10,000 of student loan debt forgiveness, what about medical debt forgiveness? What about credit card debt forgiveness? What about mortgage debt forgiveness? What about the people that don't have student loans? So really, we'll probably see that on the next horizon. I definitely expect that the student loan debt forgiveness will happen first. There's a lot of momentum right now and a lot of push for that. I do actually expect that this is going to happen one way or another, and I expect probably $10,000 at least of student loan debt forgiveness. It's in my opinion, it's pretty much as sure of a thing that as can happen before they actually like pass something, kind of like how the third stimulus check was going to be passed. We knew it was going to be passed. We knew they were going to do it through reconciliation. And they really just kind of had to line everything up and get Senator Joe Manchin to say yes. And they had to go through the reconciliation process. And then, like, there was kind of a week or two there where we're like, well, we know it's going to happen, but it's just a matter of if and when. And then it happened. I kind of think the same thing about student loan forgiveness. And really, that'll be great to report for the 1 in 6 adults that have student loans. But the question is, what about the other 5 and 6 adults? Will we see other types of debt forgiveness in the future once they pass student loan forgiveness? And everybody else is saying, what about me? Let me know your thoughts about other types of debt forgiveness down below in the comments. Do you think they should do it? Do you think they will do it? And before you get too critical, people used to say that student loan debt forgiveness would never happen. It was a huge joke in Congress, at least for people that didn't believe in it. And now we're literally on the doorstep of it happening. So now that student loan debt forgiveness has gone from a joke to actually happening, they've already done 1.3, well, 2.3 billion dollars of it. The next step is probably the big one. It's already happening. So let me know your thoughts about the possibility of other debt forgiveness in the future. This comes as President Biden is being pressured more and more every single day by his own Democratic senators and Democratic House representatives to include not just one stimulus check in the next infrastructure package, but monthly recurring stimulus checks in the next package. Literally, here just 48 hours ago, Senator Ed Markey and Senator Elizabeth Warren presented a new bill, a push for President Biden to include $2,000 monthly stimulus checks to be included in the infrastructure package and to have it go until the pandemic is legally declared over. This comes as another Democratic bill from Democratic Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Jayapal had another bill introduced just a few days before that for a one-time $2,000 stimulus check bill and then $1,000 recurring monthly payments. And instead of this one being until the pandemic is over, this one is until 1 year after the pandemic is over. But it's not $2,000 per month, it's $1,000 per month. But it goes for 1 year until the pandemic is over. And both of these bills basically say it's to get people back on their feet economically once the medical crisis of the pandemic is over, hopefully at some point in the future with vaccines and variants and the new spike we're starting to see. The economic crisis could still last for quite a while. From the 2008 and 2009 recession, we had the housing recession that many people remember as the most recent recession before this one. It actually took us 4 years to get unemployment back to normal to the levels it was before the crisis. 4 years. And that was without a medical pandemic at all. So, literally, that would be like what it is now without the medical pandemic. So, now we have the medical part of it too, a virus, a vaccine, 500,000 people that have died in the United States. We got to deal with all of that and variants and changing vaccines possibly in the future. We have to deal with all that in addition to the economic crisis. Thankfully, we've had 6 stimulus packages passed already, 5 underneath President Donald Trump and one underneath President Biden. We're going to see the infrastructure package passed one way or another as Republicans, Mitch McConnell, and the pretty much whatever Mitch McConnell says happens in the Senate. Mitch McConnell says that the next infrastructure package will not see a single Republican vote, but the Democrats will be able to pass this bill one way or another through the reconciliation process again. The real question is, what type of stimulus will we see in this package by the time the bill is finalized? We'll probably see some negotiations, but the negotiations will likely be just between the Democrats themselves. President Biden said he wants to meet with Republican leaders in the Oval Office, but honestly, at this point, it looks just like the Republicans are they'll probably go to the meeting, but it seems like they're just so far off. And it's really kind of weird to me because with infrastructure, Republicans are typically for infrastructure. If we would have taken President Biden out of the equation and we would have asked them before Biden was in, hey, Republicans, are you for infrastructure? They would have said yes. Okay. They passed an infrastructure bill a few years ago, a very minor one underneath President Trump at the time, but they're normally for infrastructure, but they're doing this blockade against Biden, basically not showing any support for President Biden. And in fact, this is not the first time the Republicans have done this. They did the same thing underneath President Obama. When President Obama first came into office in his first term, there was a Republican blockade again at that exact same time. Although Democrats didn't really control the Senate, the House, and the presidency in the same way they do now, where they're able to pass bills through reconciliation process. So it's kind of like the Republicans are doing the blockade, but it's not really helping because Democrats can pass the bills without them. So if it weren't Democrats passing the bills without them, then we'd be having a completely different discussion. The other thing is Democrats are considering getting rid of the filibuster in the near future. And if they do that, they'll be able to pass any bill, literally student loan forgiveness, Social Security raises, stimulus packages, stimulus checks, non stimulus bills, immigration, infrastructure, anything without Republican support at all, without a reconciliation process at all. They'll be able to pass even a minimum wage bill if they can get the 50 votes. They'll be able to pass anything without any Republican support and without the reconciliation process, which they can only use two more times this year. Well, two more times at least. Depends on how you look at it, but they can use the reconciliation process for at least two more bills or two more packages this year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I will keep you up to date. Don't miss out on any videos. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. After subscribing, click the bell icon to all notifications so you get reminder notifications so you don't miss out on episodes. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I've had dozens of students that have replaced their 9 to 5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. And me and my wife sell products on Amazon as well. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.